There we go. All right. A little early, but I saw some people waiting, so I thought I'd open it up. That way I get everything right. We'll wait a few more minutes before we get going. Richard, thank you. Jake's on there. What's up, my buddy Jake? All right, getting some comments and some thumbs up. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Here's James. What's up, James? Lewis. What's up, fellas? Gary. Got my whole crew here. Sounds good. All right. Good deal. One more minute, and we'll celebrate 21 days. It's pretty cool. Everybody seems to know each other. I like it. So all my gathering buddies, we're going to have to get Jake to one of the gatherings, whether it's the spring meetup or Central Kentucky Bushcraft meetup or Turkey Foot. We're going to have to get everybody together. Excuse me. All right, 9 o'clock. So this is vlog episode 21. I've made it 3 weeks of doing this crazy vlog. This is something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. It's been, I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot of work. Some days it's easier than others, of course. But on the days that you don't have time or don't want to do it, it is tough. And I think that came through on a video a couple nights ago. I was having a bad day. It wasn't as bad as probably what I said. I was being a drama queen. And I got a lot of people reached out to me, said, "Hey man, keep it up. You're doing good," and gave me a lot of encouragement. So I must have sounded pretty bad, but I'm doing good. I just got a lot of dreams and goals, and I know I'm getting older, so I know time's getting shorter, and there's a lot I want to get accomplished. Hopefully, I'll live to the ripe old age of 99, but no one knows. All right, let me read some comments here. So everybody's saying hello. Everybody's catching up. Jake from Buckeye Bushcraft says I need to go one of these. Says I need to go one of these gatherings. He said it'll be my first time camping outside. I don't know how many how many nights Jake spent in the woods last year, especially. Man, he really he probably can tell me it's a lot. I mean, that guy there for a while was doing a lot of the overnighters, a lot of the tarp camping. And what's up, Johnny? Venturing arounds out there. All right, man, we got everybody here. Uh, and I thought I was putting in a lot of dirt time going. I probably did, gosh, at least every other weekend. So there was probably 20, 26 weekends I was out in the woods, and working full time and doing that was a lot. But uh, you know, Jake topped that easy. How many did you have, Jake? Come on and tell me. Making you blush. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Jake's really put in the dirt time and paid his dues and earned his status. So how many of you guys are on the listening to the podcast I started? Is that doing pretty good? So Jake said 192 nights last year. That's crazy. That's a lot of time on the dirt. Good for you, buddy. Of course, he's a young man. It's easier for him to do. Yeah. But if you're not listening to the podcast, check it out. It's called UglyTent's Encouraging Survival. Right now, I'm just on Spotify. I'm working on Apple. For some reason, I'm having trouble getting it to Apple. But it's turned out really good. And I try to keep the themes the same. So if you get my newsletter, if you go to uglytent.com, sign up for the newsletter, or if you're on Substack, the newsletter and Substack letters are basically the same thing, real close to the same thing. Little different, but not much. But I try to use whatever I'm writing on the newsletter or Substack, I try to write or I try to incorporate into the podcast. So it all ties in together. And usually there's a video on YouTube regarding the same topic. So that's something I like to do. Jake's being modest. He said some of those weren't overnighters. They were just super late. I think we'll count them. You really put in a lot of time last year. Yeah. And if you haven't been to one of Jake's classes, the Buckeye Bushcraft, and this isn't the vlog to promote Jake, but he's just doing a really good job. I'm proud of him, and I'm enjoying tagging along, hanging along, and he's letting me teach. I'm doing a lot more instructing than I was before, which I'm used to doing it. It's just a different. See, how do I want to say this? The crowd is. I know you guys are more versed in what I'm teaching. Usually, if I'm teaching a class, it's to people who aren't familiar with this stuff or don't understand it or don't know it, or kids. A lot of Boy Scouts, a lot of church groups, that kind of stuff. But when you're teaching in front of a classroom full of people that are woodsmen and they're just trying to sharpen their skills or learn something, it's a different crowd. So, but I enjoy it, and it's making me a better woodsman, a better bushcrafter, a better survivalist by doing this. Excuse me. So I recommend the podcast if you're not on there, and of course the newsletter. I think that's enough self-promotion on that. I'm excited about my trip coming up, where I'll be going to Honduras for a mission trip. That'll be coming up soon. Can't wait to do that. I don't know how I'm going to address it as far as the vlog goes, and there's a lot of nuances on that, being out of the country, and just a lot of things that I'm not sure how to figure it out, but I will. Appalachian Outdoors tuning in. You're out, man. He said sorry for being late. No worries. But I'm gonna try to catch some really good footage in Honduras, and from the videos that I have seen where we're going, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really awesome. So I'm excited about that, to do some good works and get some adventure, get out of the country. It's kind of scary sometimes, but we got to do it. Got to get out of that comfort zone. So how are you guys liking the vlog? Leave me some comments here. I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing it, but obviously it's becoming, what they say, it takes 20 days to create a habit, or to break a habit, and 20 days to create a new habit. So we're on the verge of creating that new habit, and I'm getting used to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. And I really enjoy it, and I don't know if I can do it for a year or whatever, but man, I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. The vlog is awesome. Thank you, Jake. Looks forward to it every night. Thank you. Appreciate that. I thought Chris, Kentucky Woodsman, would be on here. I haven't seen him yet, but he usually sends me a message right after he watches it and says, "Hey, man, I liked it." Makes a comment. Bub says, "Loving it." Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You guys are the best. So, all right. Anything else on that? How are you guys liking Mrs. UglyTent on there? She asked me today. She said, "Do you want me to come down and say hi?" There's one Chris. Hey, there's Carolina Chris. Hey, man, thanks for jumping in. So I fixed a cup of coffee, right? And sometimes it makes me cough, makes me like I'm doing now. So I just switched to water. But I brought my coffee down, my coffee mug, my little Boba Fett coffee mug, right? That Trent got me. And I was going to switch it to this. How about that? But the wife heard me clearing my throat upstairs. She said, "You need to switch to water." These Kentucky Explorers there. What's up, buddy? Man, this is all right. Got 22 pieces. Yeah, nice mug. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, that was a special gift. I think I'm the only one who has one. This is a one of a kind. K38 Rescue. What's up? Mrs. UglyTent is always welcome when she is available. Stop bragging. I hope you guys are reading these comments as we go along too, because pretty good stuff here. Let me find my notes. I'm not going to bore you with stuff, but I wanted a few things to talk about other than Mrs. UglyTent and Jake, and not in that order. Oh, so I went to that Protect His House, which is the church seminar for active shooter. Then I had lunch with the guy who does that. It was a very informative lunch. It was kind of a business meeting, really, or business lunch, I should say. And I learned a lot from it. You know, I learned what I wanted to do with UglyTent, what I want to do with the church speaking tour. So if you're close to me within the region and your church would like to have me come and do my thing, whether it's 3 hours or 8 hours or even speak, because I've got some really good. I've done speaking before, public speaking or inspirational speaking or speaking at churches. I don't want to call it preaching, and I'm not an evangelist, but I've got a really good story. Those of you who don't know, my father was an immigrant from Russia, so I'm the first generation to be born in the United States, and I've got a really good story that goes with that. In the original bug out bag, and I talked about this on a podcast. I was on Jude the podcast with my buddy Dave Jude, and that lone wolf's on there. Cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And I talked about the original bug out bag, and that was, my grandparents literally packed a knapsack. They call it a knapsack, full of, well, not full, but they had throw a blanket, bread, a little jug of water, and I don't know what else was in there, and fled on foot. They had to escape the Russian militia, and they were heading anywhere who would take them that was friendly. It's a long story, but it's a good story, and it talks about immigration, and there's a lot going on with immigration right now. It's really it's a hot topic, and I think, without giving the story away, I think that we're missing um, a lot of opportunity with these immigrants. I know the feelings that we get, and we feel like they're invading our country, and I'm sure some of them are. It's no doubt there's some bad guys slipping through, which is unfortunate. But also, I think there's some good guys in there too that we got to sort out. We got to find them. My buddy Bob Parks is on there. Hello, Bob. He says, "Hello, Kenny D. You got Berkeley with you?" That's his granddaughter. She might be a little late for her. I'm not sure what time she goes to bed, but it's a little late for me, really. I mean, it's getting close to my bedtime. This old man's bedtime. But anyway, so if your church would like to have me come speak, I don't charge for it. If you want to take up a love offering, we can do that to help pay for gas and whatever else, the expenses that I incur. But no, she's in Cincinnati. All right. Bob's good to see you, or good to hear you on here, buddy. My buddy Bob and I have done a lot of really cool adventures together, a lot of camping and bushcrafting in cold weather. Oh, there's Big Dave. So my buddy Dave's on here. Thanks, Dave. And we did a cold weather in 2011, and I don't think it got above 15 degrees. I mean, we spent 3 days out there trapping and absolutely caught nothing because the weather was just too bad. Nothing was moving. And Bob was tough as nails. He said, you know, I don't think I'm going to eat unless we catch it. So for 3 days, he didn't eat. He drank coffee and water, and that was it. Uh, on the third day, we ate. Well, actually, I ate. I packed some food, and I went ahead and ate. But man, I tell you what, yeah, it was blue cold. That was probably the coldest I've been for the longest period of time. So, but anyway, Bob's a good friend. I enjoyed our adventures together, and maybe one of these days we'll get some more. Yep, good times. Good times. So I think that covers the talked about the church tour. And I'm looking at my notes here. Jake says that's when the Waffle House hits completely different than it normally does. Yeah, yeah, you can say that again. I think we drove through McDonald's and got a sausage biscuit with cheese, and it was absolutely delicious, you know. And like I said, I did eat. I took a couple of freeze dried meals, and I didn't eat as much as I normally would because I felt bad eating in front of Bob, but he didn't. He just didn't want to eat. He's like, nope, if I'm not catching it, I'm not eating it. So, all right, man. He's tough as nails, hard as nails. And the other thing about Bob too, he used to be a nuisance trapper, a nuisance trapper back in the '80s. So from I don't know how many years. He might be able to tell me, but it was a while. That's how he made his living was trapping. So, you know, he's an old school woodsman, and I learned a lot about trapping. I'm not a proficient trapper like he is, but he taught me the skills. 10 years. There you go. He was a nuisance trapper for 10 years. So that's a real woodsman. When you're making your money off trapping, then you're doing something. That's awesome. Cool stories. Good stuff. All right. I'm seeing anybody else got anything they want to shoot out there and mention. I know Jake's got a Gary Kentucky Prepper 5 said that he had a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit or McGriddle. And it was the best ever. Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. I love seeing your guys' comments. It's hard for me to keep up with reading them all because I get carried away reading them and I forget to talk about them. But you guys can read them also. Yeah, I'll probably do this live thing every once in a while. Probably on the milestones of the vlog. You know, if I can make it month and a half, 2 months, whatever, we'll do it again. You know, because I like seeing the interaction. I love having people on here talking. It's really cool to see that everybody knows each other. I got a great community. You know, the other thing I wanted to thank you guys for was when I did the giveaway, there was a lot of spam bots that popped up, and you guys were right on it. You guys were on it like a hen on a June bug. You really jumped in and shot some messages to me and said, "Hey, man, I think you've been infiltrated by the spam bots, and you need to get on it." So I went in and deleted them, got rid of them, reported them, all that stuff. But I appreciate you guys looking out for me. Yeah, Gary says the Bushcraft Expo is next month in Knott County. I'm going with Jake on that. We'll be setting up together. Jake is teaching. I'm going to be helping run his booth when he's not teaching and run our booth. And I'll have my gear and he'll have his gear to sell. And then he'll be doing the teaching and stuff with a lot of the others. There's going to be some really good names there. I know, I'm not sure who else is going to be there, but one of the names that's going to be there is Creek Stewart. I've been wanting to meet Creek for a while. He seems like a really top-notch guy. They say he's super nice. He's very knowledgeable. And then Craig Cottle, I'm not sure if he's going. I think he might be going. Did you guys see where Craig Cottle put on his media today about him being on America's Most Wanted? Not as a fugitive either. He was on there as a subject matter expert about tracking and survival. So he posted that. I think it was today. He posted that he's allowed to talk about it now, but he went to Los Angeles and filmed with America's Most Wanted. It's pretty cool. So it looks like a lot of people are going to it. Cool. Well, I see Mrs. UglyTent stopping by. Yeah, you guys need to come. You guys need to come see. Come on in. Mrs. UglyTent's going to make an appearance. She's trying to get in the man cave here. So you got the puppy.
This way.
Yeah, you gotta go this way.
No.
Yeah, there's Apollo. He's hurt his back. So he is, if you guys have been watching the vlog, you've seen this little feller. He's a Chiweenie. He's part Chihuahua and part Dachshund. So they're not supposed to have the back problems that Dachshunds have because of the Chihuahua in him. But he's hurt his back about, 3 or 4 months ago. Got better, but then he hurt it again recently, and he's pitiful. It's heartbreaking. And he's the best little doggy. I never thought I'd be attached to a little dog like this, but he's something else. Yeah, he's a good boy. All right, so Gary's saying you leave.
Yeah. Goodbye.
She makes it UglyTent pretty, doesn't she? All right, so Blackie Thomas, Sean Kelly, of course, Jake, myself, Creek Stewart, 100 classes with outdoors bushcraft camp all 3 days. That's pretty awesome. So I'll be there all 3 days with Jake. Yeah, I think Craig's going to be there. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good event. So if you haven't signed up for that, you may want to do that. Yeah, nice lineup. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, guys, I do not want to keep you all night. You know, we're in the 20-minute mark here, 21 minutes and 57 seconds. So I appreciate every one of you all stopping by and giving me the thumbs up and saying, hey, you all are the best. I love my subscribers. You know, it's all, I hardly ever have trolls and haters anymore. It's all good stuff. And I appreciate that. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining in. It means a lot. It really does. So I'll let you go. Y'all have a good evening or a good rest of the night. Get some rest. We'll do it again tomorrow, and I'll see you all tomorrow on the vlog, hopefully. He says 5 more minutes. Okay. It's past my bedtime, Jake. I'm an old man. God bless you guys. Good night.